My name is Carolyn Weedle, and for the past 4 years I've worked in all aspects of sports broadcasting. I began as a production assistant for the newly formed Mid-Atlantic Sports Network and eventually worked my way up to become a producer. Of all the things I've done in the field, the thing I love the most is interviewing others and telling their stories. And although my time in front of the camera has been limited, I've excelled in all the opportunities that I've been given. And I know that if your network hires me, I'll excel there as well. I hope you take the time out to look at this DVD and see some of the examples of the work that I've done in the past.
Do you want to take a real picture? You and me to take home with you? Yeah? Will you smile? Maybe? All right. Ready?
It may take a photo, an autograph.
There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Or a one-on-one game session with Brian Roberts.
Oh, bank shot. Oh, wow, that was terrible. Looks like you're better than me.
But slowly the smiles emerge at the University of Maryland Hospital for Children.
When Brian comes, most of the time, quite frankly, I don't even know he's here. I find out because you can tell something's going on.
I enjoy this game of baseball, and you know, come January the 1st each year, I can't wait to get to Florida and get the new year started. I could come out and play this game 365 days a year. I hate to see that last day of the season come.
That's the same attitude that his son Cal Ripken Jr. would embody throughout his 21-year career. But what was it about Cal Sr. that helped not only his sons, but countless other players thrive in the major leagues?
Dad's way, his approach to everything he did, I think rang true to us and helped us along the way. And I've said this before, that I believe without Senior there would not have been a junior, and I'm not talking biological. I think that Cal, his size, his ability, his strength, he would have played in the big leagues. But I don't think if Dad was not present, he would be the Iron Man or be going into the Hall of Fame.
The first 3 or 4 days, it's more about grinding through it, kind of getting things in a general area on the board. You know, these players, this is kind of where we think they fit. The last 2 to 3 days is when, you know, the gloves come off a little bit and the fights start, and it's good, it's healthy.
For the past 23 years, Jerry Hurst has been inspecting and cleaning each Orioles uniform. Tyler has been there for 47 years, and assistant equipment manager Bunny German has been there for 20. That's nearly 90 years of experience between the three.
Brian Roberts would be the dirtiest one that I've had, and still have, playing right now. But Brian Roberts would be the dirtiest. Then you got Tejada and Patterson real close behind.
I kept praying and praying, wanting someone in the big leagues, a major leaguer, to talk to or learn a little bit about the game, and I never had that opportunity. And a couple years down the road, here I am. I'm learning from the great, one of the greatest, if not one of the best hitters in the game.
Who is Kennard referring to? None other than Hall of Famer Tony Gwynn, who worked with Kennard and other Padre prospects at San Diego State University.
Earl saw the potential in me, as did everybody. The hard part was everybody was telling me how to hit. Earl was trying to help me. He tried to get mad at me a little bit. He tried to put his arm around me. He took me out early batting practice. They had all kinds of things going on. And basically what I wanted to hear was, look, I'm not going to send you back to Rochester, because that was my biggest fear, is that, okay, I got to go start over again.
The Oriole manager did decide to move Ripken, but it wasn't back to Rochester like Cal had feared. Midway through the season and in second place behind the Milwaukee Brewers, Weaver was looking for some way to ignite the Orioles' offense. And he did it by sparking the Orioles' defense.
I always thought Cal would make a heck of a shortstop because he was so smooth, so graceful. I thought his talents would have been wasted at third base. I think Cal can play shortstop. I wasn't sure if he was going to be able to play shortstop in the major leagues, but I said, I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to move him to shortstop and try to get a little offense in at third base.
Though the 6'1" Ripken seemed like an unlikely candidate at the time, his play up the middle gave both he and the team the boost they needed.
Long before Jesse Sepp ever made moves like that one on the basketball hardwood, he was juking defenders in street ball games on New York's concrete playgrounds. When Jesse transitioned to regulation basketball as a teenager, some aspects of his game changed, but there's one thing that he's carried with him from Harlem to the hilltop:
my toughness.
The Maryland Terrapins return to the court this season with 6 sophomores and 4 upperclassmen. It's a young team, but experienced enough to know that last season's failure to make the NCAA tournament is not something they want to repeat.
That was a big disappointment for me, and you know, Coach always brings it up, and we talk about it a lot, you know, so we just definitely don't want to be in that situation again this year.
With a handful of collegiate basketball teams sprawled across the D.C. metropolitan area, Children's Charities founder Peter Thiele recognized a great opportunity to not only promote and develop local rivalries, but a chance to raise money for an important cause.
There's lots of ways to raise money, and my feeling was that if you could, you know, provide some entertainment or provide a venue where people could come and really have a good time, enjoy themselves, bring their families, it would be a little bit different in terms of the way to raise money for charity.
Last year's UMBC men's basketball team accomplished something no other team in program history ever has, and the importance of it doesn't get wasted on Cavell Johnson.
I'm getting chill bumps now thinking about it. Every time I think about it, to this day, I get chill bumps.
When Carl Hobbs took over the GW men's basketball program in 2001, he inherited a program plagued by problems both on and off the court. In his effort to return GW to the national stage, Hobbs placed his focus on recruiting players who possess not only strong talent, but strong character. It's a lesson the 8th-year head coach was reminded of after the Colonials finished last season with a 9-17 record and failed to make their 4th consecutive NCAA tournament appearance.
What it's taught me as a basketball coach is to keep your focus on character.
Well, Brian, you more than anyone on this team probably have seen a lot of ups and downs of this Orioles organization. Where does this year kind of fall on that spectrum for you?
Take me into your halftime locker room. I know you go into halftime with Mount St. Mary's scoring 2 points at the buzzer. What did Coach say to you to get you guys riled up to come out and play a strong second half?
The life of a student athlete, you're balancing school and then you're balancing baseball. But in the summer months, you get to solely concentrate on baseball. And I know you specifically played in some summer leagues. Tell me what that experience is like and what the environment in the summer league is like. Well, Buck, Oriole fans heard so much about Matt Wieters before his big debut earlier this season. Now that he's up in the major leagues, he's had some things to work on behind the plate. Let's just talk about a few of them. Namely, number one, just pitch calling. What kind of development has Matt gone through so far this year? Well, Orioles manager Dave Tremblay joins us here in Florida, just as he does every week on MASNsports.com. He's here to answer some of your fan questions and talk everything Orioles, which, Dave, probably isn't too hard to do right now considering how well this team has done in the past week. The Orioles are going to finish this year with a worse record than they did last year. If you put the record aside and you look at this team at this point now compared to this point last season, what improvements have you seen this team make? With the expansion of the roster in September, there's some guys that are up here right now that obviously are vying for a spot on that roster next season. What are some things specifically that you look for from them, and how much of what they do now plays into the role of what they might have on the team next year? Gary Williams says that if his team is to get back to the postseason and into the NCAA tournament, the main thing they need to do is be consistent. He's entering his 20th season as head coach of Maryland basketball, so he should know a thing or two about that. I'm Carolyn Weedle for MASN.